Hey guys, welcome back to the MattVidPro AI YouTube channel. It's actually been quite the eventful week in the AI space. There's plenty to discuss. Mainly, our updates are going to be concerned with AI video, but there are some little LLM tidbits, and especially this, that really caught my eye. Check out this tweet from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. We are going to take a little more time with our open weights model, i.e. expect it later this summer, but not June. So for this first part, yes, OpenAI did promise an actual open source, open weight set of models or model. We don't really know much about it at all. Originally, it was supposed to come this month, but it's been delayed, which is pretty sad at first, but then you read the next line. Our research team did something unexpected and quite amazing, and we think it will be very, very worth the wait, but it needs a little bit longer. Sam, as vague as ever, of course, never really giving us much detail, but yeah, this is a pretty big hype driver. The open source model has been delayed because they did something amazing and unexpected, maybe discovered a new AI capability of some form, built something new. Needs a little bit more time in the oven, but Sam seems to think it's promising. This has me excited, and if they release it open source, it could be huge for everyone. A lot of people have been talking about how Google has sort of taken the lead over OpenAI lately, but maybe in the background, OpenAI has been cooking up some good stuff, and they've just been keeping it under wraps. So much so that they can give it to us as a gift with open weights, but not yet. I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see how it all pans out. Obviously, the community reacted to this in the way that you would expect. Care to elaborate? Yes, I agree with you, Jimmy. When is O4 Pro hitting the scene? I Rule the World seems to think GPT-5 is hitting in the middle of June now. This user states that they don't believe the open weights model from OpenAI will be state-of-the-art. That would undermine their business model. And I gotta say, that's the first thing that I also thought when I read this tweet. As much as I want to agree with this assessment here, I think Sam and OpenAI are smart enough to know that they have to deliver a model here that truly is state-of-the-art, or at least bring something new to the table. An open weights model that is worse than other competitors would just make OpenAI look bad. I do think that they will deliver in this scenario. Next up, we are finally getting our first preview and look into Midjourney video. Yup, they actually have been developing a video model this whole time, and I gotta say, while Midjourney has kind of fallen flat in the image gen space in terms of technologically keeping up, they still have always had the vibes at the very least, and a massive community. And I gotta say, their video model from the first snapshots here actually does look very promising and impressive. Now, with VO3 releasing from Google, essentially a interdimensional cable generator with full native audio support, I'm sort of leaning into the fact that Midjourney is probably releasing this model under the pretense that it's more about the vibes, more about the style and the way the video flows, rather than hard use cases that you can actually use the technology for today. More artistic, less business. Anyways, yeah, here is the first clip we're taking a look at. It's a girl looking out a window. I gotta say, it is packed with detail. Definitely has that punchy Midjourney style that we're used to, and Twitter compression's not doing us any favors. The motion's good. I mean, she looks over, just kind of looks out the window. It's only like a 5-second video, so nothing super long. But yeah, definitely plenty of detail in there. Now, could I have generated an image with Midjourney and tossed it into Kling or literally any other image to video generator? Yeah, sure. But we have plenty of clips to look over, and there is some special Midjourney sauce to taste today. Next up, we've got this generation, which appears to be like a moving newsprint image. You can see all the individual dots from the newsprint, a part of this bird wearing a crown flying around, and you can even see the texture of the paper in the background, which doesn't change much at all. But the wings, of course, start to move, it starts to fly around, and it does keep the dots pretty consistent. Again, leaning into that typical Midjourney style where there's a lot of detail, it's very punchy. It seems like the model that they are working on under the hood, this Midjourney video, it is not designed to be this cheap AI video slot machine that you put stuff in and get a generation out real quick. When this video model does release, I expect it to take a little bit more time with its generations, but deliver a higher level of detail and hopefully adherence to your prompt, or at least better motion. I gotta say, the 2D animation on this is pretty darn good. Typically, 2D animation is something that AI video can struggle with, or most AI video models do struggle with. So it's good to see that they are putting a focus on diversity in terms of different types of video generations you can make. But again, I do expect that from Midjourney. Like, Midjourney is one of those first initial companies that started with image generation and have promised a ton since then and haven't really delivered all that much. So the expectations are pretty high. We've got another one. This is more anime style. Now, Midjourney actually did develop its own anime model, the Nishi version of Midjourney models, so it's no surprise that they are looking at anime-styled generations. It seems like the frame rate and overall animation for this one looks pretty good, maybe not as good as I typically see from Vidu. Most notably, the sauce, when it's poured onto the food, doesn't really appear to stay there at all. It kind of just dissolves instantly in the food. You can't really see it lay out, but artistically, yeah, it's pretty cool. We've got this generation as well, a black and white photo style. He's got this old-fashioned camera and he's taking a picture. It's in slow motion. This isn't really impressing me all that much. I feel like I could generate a very similar looking image with ideogram and then put it into any video generator. I will say though, plenty of detail in that background. Again, compression is not our friend here. We've got more animation style. This one is far more impressive. It kind of seems, or at least feels like, that animation combo you got from the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movies. Just like a little bit where it's got like the slower frame rate as the character actually moves, but all the effects are at a higher frame rate. It's pretty good though. It's consistent. The character is able to do a full 360 rotation and then spread his wings out in a way that feels natural. This one is pretty crazy. I have a feeling people are going to like this. Tons and tons of punchy detail here and great physics on that dress and on the hair as well. This is something, or a style at least, that you don't really see from other video generators. It's not exactly full real human, but it's not exactly fully animated either. It seems to be like a combo of both, and it's working pretty well. A stellar example, and I would consider this to be one of the better ones, showing off that this new video model has some good understanding, especially with the physics down there under the hood. But don't think that's all the Midjourney video examples we have today. We absolutely have more, and the more and more that I actually look at this model and observe the video, the more I'm impressed. We've got Javi Lopez showing off this example. This is a little bit of a How to Train Your Dragon style. But yeah, we've got this girl in some sort of medieval-esque armor. A little baby dragon jumps down and then climbs on her back. This one, I think you can kind of see how it starts off with the Midjourney initial image generation. Then the dragon hops down and climbs up. But there is a ton of detail here. Again, compression is not our friend, but look closely. A lot of that detail is absolutely getting compressed. I mean, I can see the individual lines on this dragon's belly here. All that detail on the lighting, the armor is dirty. You can see the chainmail down here. There's a ton of punchy detail. And I gotta say, this one also doesn't have a lot of motion blur. It's got like this high shutter speed effect going on, which really is drawing me in as well. Makes it feel a little bit more real, which is intriguing. It's just kind of hitting different. I guess that's the best way I could put this new Midjourney video model. It hits a little bit different than the others. Here's a more normal-esque generation you'd typically expect out of a video model, but we've got a great mirror example here, and it absolutely nails it. She's obviously in some sort of futuristic space lounge, I don't even know, but as she's walking away, the camera follows, and it all looks very, very natural. And of course, the mirror does do a great job at reflecting her in a realistic way and giving off the impression that this is genuinely filmed and not AI generated. Here is some more cartoon style demo, also involving a mirror, this time actually inside a cartoon though, weirdly enough, and it's pretty impressive. It seems good with this 2D animation stuff. You can see there's a little bit of physics again on the dress there, and the character does kind of rotate in a 3D way, but it keeps it really coherent to the 2D style that it's trying to replicate. It doesn't feel like traditional sketchbook 2D animation, like not even close. It's almost like its own type of deal, but it works. It's not like it's unpleasant. And you can also notice, again, like the mirror it does a great job with, but it also keeps like the background and the non-moving things completely static. There's no shifting, there's no weirdness, which is really great to see. Shifting and weirdness over time, huge issue with AI video. Here we go, another interesting style, a blend of 2D and 3D animation, and you can see this one, it absolutely nails. This is something that could definitely be recreated in a computer, and the fact that it nails it this well is pretty astonishing. But it keeps him consistent as he puts his head down. You can actually track the individual hairs in the beard. They move a little bit, and the finer details do kind of shimmer like you typically get with AI video, but it's solid. It's good. And of course, the guy does start to yap at the end, as a lot of AI video generators like to do. Typically, this is kind of an issue for video generators that have no audio, and I suspect that this one won't have any native audio. But for models like Google VO3 that just released, that guy would actually start to speak and say something, which instantly bumps the usability of whatever generation you just made. So native audio, I think, is something that I'm really going to be looking for towards the end of this year and definitely next year from AI video generators. Some classic filmic MJ styles just converted to video instead. Again, this one, it's like, yeah, we could have just taken a Midjourney image and slapped it into a video generator. This isn't too impressive to me. It does, however, keep all that detail. That is really the thing to look for with this model, is tons of detail that does not go away. Got a little pie animation. Again, this thing really does seem to be trained on quite a lot of animation compared to what you typically see with your clings, your haleyus, etc. This looks pretty good. I mean, it grabs this piece out, but it kind of duplicates like the same piece, as you can see. So it's like we remove the piece, but underneath it is the same image. Not a great sign, maybe a sign of its stability, but not exactly what I want for my animation. Also, 3D style animation. This one is not impressing me all that much. I mean, the detail is great. You can see actually the individual little particles, of course, as the tooth comes out, which is great. And again, compression isn't our friend. But the overall motion and coherency, like, I don't know exactly what the prompt here was for this. It's not really blowing my mind. Now, this does really excite me, though, where we're actually able to create animation where only one tiny subject actually moves. Typically with AI video generators, they like to keep things moving. I mean, move the camera, move all kinds of different things in the scene. It's not easy to train the AI to do exactly what you want based off of just a text prompt, and you're making video at the end of the day. I mean, video is incredibly complex. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and video is worth even more. But Midjourney Video is able to keep this whole scene very much stable and just have this one little character kind of move out and move around. Now, the character does seem to kind of be violating the laws of this image itself. I believe this is supposed to be a wall moving downwards to this level, yet this creature or whatever is kind of moving absent of those rules. Still, though, it's just one little piece moving where the whole image is still, and that's pretty cool. But I will say, the water here, these are clearly supposed to be little water waves, not moving at all. So something good, something bad. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time looking at all of these Midjourney generations. If you want to know where these are coming from, it's from the A&B blind testing that Midjourney does for their newly released models before they actually come out. So this isn't like the final variant of the Midjourney model, and it's not, you know, a true use case where someone is actually trying to tell a story using the model itself, just kind of random prompts. This is a pretty great 3D animation piece, looks straight out of a video game. We've got more 2D style animation. This one seems to kind of be just like moving static images around though, so like a Flash style animation. I kind of have to disagree with Javi Lopez that it doesn't look like AI, but here is another really impressive one. This lady turning her head with the spacesuit. Gosh, that really strange combination between 3D and 2D animation seems to be a nail on the head for this model. Some like apocalypse vibes going on, a little miniature restaurant, these miniature things actually moving around like stop motion, but of course, like the text that isn't perfectly spelt correctly, something Midjourney still hasn't really been able to master. Even with its imagery, we've got Yoda in a wheelchair on Christmas, no clue what's going on there. Some basic interior design stuff, which is pretty nice, I gotta say. Midjourney's always kind of had a leg up with interior design. Here's like a creepy SCP of this bird-headed man walking into what appears to be a convenience store. This comes from a mirror. We've got a lady riding a lion. Very slow motion here, but both of these characters kind of turn and look at the camera at the same time, which is pretty cool. Definitely has that Midjourney vibe with these like muted but also filmic and really mysterious colors, sort of blue misty in the background and then the very orange punchy browns for these main subjects. Some more 2D animation looking pretty decent. Some really kind of just creepy animation of this girl who appears to be locked up, or maybe she's doing something devious, I don't know. Oh, a little cat running around. Good thing the cat isn't doing any morphing. That's always great to see. Again, this model appears to be pretty large in size. It's able to keep all four legs of that cat coherent as it runs across on the bed, and that looks good, I must say. Some wizards doing DJ stuff. That is total Midjourney vibes, of course. I'd love to hear in the comments what your first impressions are of this new Midjourney video model. I've seen a lot of people praise it, but I've also seen some folks kind of feel disappointed about it. The fact of the matter is that Midjourney never kind of made it past the echelon of AI text generation being perfected in the first place with its models. Maybe they felt like it messed up the aesthetics of the Midjourney models too much. Either way, honestly, this video model is looking better than I thought it would, especially considering that those are kind of random text prompts and random generations plucked for A to B comparisons in Midjourney testing. It's not like Midjourney is releasing these as like their cherry-picked results. So we're actually getting a pretty good snapshot of what this model is going to look like. I think it's really going to come down to the use case once the model comes out, but definitely I would say at least it's better with 2D animation than a lot of models are, or a lot of the popular models are that we see today. And it definitely kicks Sora's ass, I'll say that. But yeah, it's not the full Midjourney video model that's actually releasing to the public. This might be a mixture of like their testing models, we don't really know. So you're gonna want to take it with a grain of salt at the end of the day. Is it perfection? No. Does it look better than I thought? Yes. Would it become my go-to video model? Probably not, because it's Midjourney. And typically when I need to use a video generation model, it's not all about the aesthetics. I'm very much poignant on prompt adherence. So we'll have to wait for the full release. Let us move on. I've got plenty more to discuss. Next up, Topaz Labs, the original AI upscaling king, been around longer than I can think for literally any other AI upscaling tool. They're launching Astra. This is their first ever creative style upscaler for video, which is really intriguing. You can take any AI video output and upscale it to a crisp 4K resolution, and I assume you can also just do this with any video you take yourself, although it probably works best with AI generated videos. You're enhancing the quality here. You're adding way more fine details because, again, it is creative style, so the model's actually hallucinating extra detail as it's upscaling. Similar to Magnific Upscaler, think of that. They've got this new Starlight series of models that apparently is powering all of this under the hood. Not released just yet. Apparently it's still in early access, but it is looking really fantastic. If there's one thing you guys got to know about Topaz Labs, is that they are quality over quantity, and also their pricing is very expensive, but you are getting quality models here. So when they release a video upscaler, it's going to be good. It's going to be probably best in the business. State of the art, if not the best upscalers you can get your hands on. Meta AI is actually making some strides with robotics. This is VJEPA 2. It's only 1.2 billion parameters trained on video and can enable zero-shot planning in robotics, allowing them to essentially plan before they execute tasks in environments that they have never seen before. So we're not talking about bots that are programmed with light AI capabilities that work in a warehouse. We're talking about robots that you can put anywhere. Put them in your house, they can open your fridge, take out a drink, hand it to you. I don't know, that kind of thing. I think it's really cool that Meta's working on this. There are a lot of AI companies that work in robotics, but in terms of training models, Meta does have the snuff and the credibility to do that well, and they claim that this is state of the art. So it's great to see. They state that they want to work towards the goal of achieving advanced machine intelligence, AMI, so that's like their own little AGI for robots. They're also releasing benchmarks along with this to help evaluate how well models can reason about the physical world based on video. Yeah, if you guys want to dive deeper into this, they do have a whole blog post with Yan himself on here. What is up, Yan? We miss you over on X. Yeah, I would say that robotics is probably one of the largest long-term use cases for AI technology, and it really does make sense to invest and start building for it now to get your foot in the door if you are an AI company. That's why you're seeing Meta talk about it today, and also NVIDIA, among other companies, are so heavily involved with and discussing AI robotics regularly. And if you work in robotics, download the models for yourself right on Hugging Face. Gotta love Meta for that. And in other AI video news, Higgs Field has got an update, already integrating the Flux 1 context, which I covered a little bit ago, right into their models, allowing some pretty crazy changes while keeping the overall camera movements and video the same, which is pretty crazy. You'll see probably the biggest example is changing the clothes of various characters. I don't know, Higgs Field's pretty expensive. It's not my go-to personally, but it is pretty cool. And I like the fact that they're integrating things like Flux Context right away as they release. Google Labs has given us a little bit of an update on Flow and VO3. They say that they're continuing to improve the Flow website, which definitely needs it, in my humble opinion, but they're launching a brand new VO3 model, VO3 Fast, which is over 2 times faster with the same 720p resolution, but of course less prompt adherence, and I don't know if the audio is as good either. If you guys have been using this VO3 Fast model, let me know, I suppose. They've also made a little bit of a nod to the AI Bigfoot that's been going viral, and I just have to say, guys, I was the first one to make an AI Bigfoot video. Yeah, folks, it was me. Go ahead and try to find an AI Bigfoot video that was posted earlier than May 21st. But honestly, I love the fact that AI Bigfoot videos are going viral. They're pretty fun to watch, and it's not like I owned the idea of Bigfoot or making AI videos with him, so go wild, folks. Make as many Bigfoot vlogs as you want. But yeah, Google has kind of taken Bigfoot to become like this Google mascot, which is pretty funny. I also would like to note that they have started to expand VO3 access via API to all kinds of companies. So there are a lot of image and video generation websites that are starting to feature VO3, which is super cool. OpenAI would wait way longer than Google to release their API like this, so mind-blowing. Also, speaking of OpenAI, they actually released O3 Pro, and I've been spending a lot of time with it. I do want to talk about O3 Pro, still trying to decide exactly what angle I want to take my video on. It's probably the best reasoning and maybe the best research model I've ever used, but it does take absolutely ages. Anyways, it's very smart. It's only available to pro users and ChatGPT, but of course, Pliny the Liberator here has already jailbroken it. And honestly, this sums it up pretty well. Wowee! Our new friend O3 here is slow as molasses, but smart as a weapon. Yeah, that's absolutely the case. It will think for like 10 minutes on how to solve 1 + 1, but it will give you the correct answer no matter what. If you get the chance to try O3 Pro, give it some difficult prompts. Regular O3 is very smart and also can take a long time to answer questions, but this thing takes like orders of magnitude longer. But like, your confidence when it gives you an answer is very high that it is correct. But yeah, even if you are the smartest, most upgraded version of OpenAI's latest reasoning model, you're still going to get jailbroken by Pliny. And finally, Grok 3.5 also seems to be arriving pretty soon. Testing Catalog pointed out that XAI is testing Grok 3.5 along with a new voice mode. Of course, anticipating a release pretty soon, Elon, I can remember, said something about 3.5 arriving like the following week or something. Like he tweeted that weeks ago and it never happened. I'm sure it's on its way pretty soon though. I would rather them wait than release a model that isn't ready, so take your time, guys. I don't know, let's see what this voice mode sounds like.
I'm Grok. running on the latest model from XAI, version 3.5. That's the fancy tech behind my charming voice and witty responses. Want to dive into something specific?
Sounds pretty good. The real test will be, is it emotional? Does it have the diversity that OpenAI and Google's voice models have? To be real with you guys, my expectations for a Grok 3.5 are going to be pretty high. When Grok originally first released at its 3.0, I was seriously impressed. But things have happened since then. We've got Claude 4 now, which is a coding beast, the Gemini 2.5 series, which is incredible, and all of these new OpenAI models. Grok is no longer the king of the stoop. So hopefully this 3.5 model is going to blow us away. I think it's going to be marginally better and probably absolutely state of the art, but nothing that's like benchmark shattering, leagues above level. That's my prediction. And all right, let's move into a new paper from ByteDance, Seaweed APT2. We've got minute-long generations, and this post right here is by my good friend Tim from Theoretically Media. Dude makes great videos, better than mine. Go watch them. Don't watch this channel. No, I'm just kidding. You can watch both channels. Anyways, he's always on top of the game. He's always talking about the latest stuff, and this little thread is no different. This is adversarial post-training for real-time interactive video generation, and that means that you get generations that are not only consistent and coherent, but they are so for long periods of time, longer than 10 seconds, up to a minute it seems. So apparently it's generating 24 frames per second, streaming at 720p. I mean, that's insane. And yeah, this is a consistent minute-long video of this dude on the mountains that you can watch all the way through. The camera moves, it shifts, the guy kind of talks a little bit, he moves his hands, he adjusts his helmet, etc. And it is all fine and dandy, but I will say, as cool as this is, the fact that it's a real time, the fact you can go up to a minute, if we look at the front and then go to the end, we can see that things change quite a lot in the background. Our main dude here doesn't change too much, but he grows a beard over time and kind of starts to look a little bit different than he did right in the beginning. You can see he actually started off with no beard. In the end, he does have a beard. The tree over there changes colors for sure. We actually get more shrubbery over here over time. This tree right here seems to get a little bit thicker and a little bit longer over time, and the mountains are shifting. They are changing shape. It's very grassy right in the beginning, but towards the end, look at those mountains. They kind of morph and form and hallucinate into like these big, like chunky thing going on with like all these orange bits, these bigger grassy bits. There's even a lady in the background over here. So it's interesting. It is doing it over time, but it starts to lose the plot for sure. It's not a perfect solution, definitely still research level. And it kind of, I don't know, I don't want to see it deep fries it because it doesn't deep fry it. It just sort of starts to hallucinate and forget what things look like over time. Think of it kind of how like this is the original memory. This is your brain remembering it, a week later, a month later, a year later, 5 years later, right? Little details, little things change and twist over time as you start to forget it. I'm not saying it's valueless though, because it is far from that. This is great research. Again, the fact that it's real time is really mind-blowing. There's even interactive generation, as Tim points out, for camera-controlled world exploration. They even provide a use case for virtual avatars. All you gotta do is provide an initial frame, and then you can actually pose and move that character around, which is cool. Now, unfortunately, this one right now, Seaweed Apartment 2, APT2, is just a research paper, but they've got plenty of examples. I'll provide the link to this website in the description below. It's cool. I don't know. I don't see OpenAI putting out papers like this. That's all I'm gonna say. Finally, to cap off our AI news for the day, Runway has introduced a chat mode. And I gotta say, this is pretty awesome. This is actually a genuinely useful way to work with Runway's models, create AI video in a seamless text-like format, a chatbot format. But if you're working on a project, you're definitely going to want to use their traditional interface. Honestly, for Runway, I think this could be a great way to get new folks into the door that haven't used Runway's models. It's seamless. It kind of brings up the model you need when you need it instead of having to pick and choose all the options yourself. And you can just chat with it to tell the story you're looking to tell, which is awesome. So folks, there is this week's roundup. Lots of really interesting things, particularly going on in the video gen space. There were some things I didn't talk about, like Midjourney getting sued for copyright infringement from Disney. I did talk a little bit about that on Twitter, if you want to see my opinion, but Essentially, TLDR, Disney's a hypocrite. If you want to see the latest advances in AI as they happen, absolutely join the MattVidPro Discord server, which is linked down below. Fantastic community on there, and of course, lightning fast with anything that happens AI. See you guys in the next video, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.